Welcome to Business and Belly Laughs. This is our 50th episode.
Is this our 50th episode? How No, don't mind me. I'm just
dealing with a broken timer.
No, it's not actually broken.
There we go.
I turned it
And
on.
we've kicked
and then we
off.
got to chatting, and then it got to a minute. And I thought, we don't want to take away a minute from
Oh,
the
you're
podcast.
resetting
I was
it.
trying to reset it, and I was like, okay, what's the...
Now we've taken a minute talking about you resetting
No, we've
it.
taken 17, 18, 19, 20 seconds. Yeah.
Welcome to Business and Belly Laughs. This is our 50th episode.
Is this our 50th episode? How did you remember that?
Because I have a really good memory. I was just talking and then it dawned on me that she said last time we were on our 49th.
So we actually had a goal for podcasts. Part of the podcast is just getting in the routine, right? And just kind of, building it out. And you look at people, you're like, oh my gosh, they have 10,000 shorts. How did you possibly get there? And part of it's just being religious and having a routine and just doing it, right?
Yeah.
And getting into the flow. Because one, we're still searching for what our podcast is really going to kind of gravitate to, what it'll kind of morph to.
I'm not searching. I am 100% satisfied with
your show about nothing.
Absolutely. I love it.
Well, that's good. I think it's actually great in the sense that we'll be able to look back and just watch ourselves age over
Oh,
the
God.
years.
Yeah.
When
I'm 10 years older.
That.
Hopefully the Botox
actually, I do agree with you
kicks in.
because, a lot of times we kind of talk about some of the ventures that we're working on. And as we do get questions and people are asking, we can kind of talk about that. And really the main purpose of this was to get people to kind of know who we are as individuals and that we're real, we're down to earth. We're not
And podcasts are fun. Yes, there's some that are financial where it's someone calls in and they're good, but some are relationship advice. Some are literally just talking about reality TV shows. Giggly Squad is just pretty epic and it talks about everything. Giggly Squad is one of the top podcasts in the United States.
That's
today.
amazing. I think we should be we can call ours Billy Squad.
We don't need to call ours anything. We can't be that.
We're in business. We're business owners. We're small business owners, and life is fun, and we like to laugh, and I'm okay with that too.
I know, and
it's our 50th episode.
Woo! And this weekend, vacations are pretty sparse with a newborn right now, but we had renters, aka my aunt and uncle, in our lake condo for the entire winter. They've been there for 4 months, and they always stay through Easter, which was wonderful, and we can chat about that. But they left, and hopefully, I need to message them and see if they made it safely.
Did they go straight through yesterday?
No, they probably landed
no
at a destination, and they're on the road again today.
Yeah,
but they're trekking back to Michigan, and we are going to the lake to move literally half of our life into the condo
back
for the
in
summer.
for the summertime.
Yes.
I mean, summertime's coming. We're really excited. We're moving a bunch of
Plus
this year. We're putting a bunch of baby
shit.
That's just the reality.
The amount of shit you need for a baby and things you don't need, but that are convenient. It's so funny. I almost went down a baby
is
path.
that
you
and I, it's a couple years ago. What we used to do is we should actually pack for the weekend, and so we would pack everything up, and I think it was when we were still kind of renting our place out
to other people. We would only bring the clothes we needed,
and we would do that. But then when we decided to stop renting, then we kind of put all of our clothes there. We had our toothbrushes out, and it was just literally Thursdays. Just get in the car. Get in the car, make sure I have my flip-flops. Everything was going to be at the lake.
So convenient.
It was so convenient.
Yeah.
And so in the last several years, we've gotten very used to this lifestyle in the summertime. And now, because we do have a young one, little baby, it's kind of okay, well, we don't want to be having, and
here's the thing.
Little things add up. It's do we need a second pack and play? Do we need a second baby Brezza?
I know.
Do we need more bottles? Do we need, and I'm kind of you know what? I don't want to be moving it back and forth because, we're just gonna get frustrated, and we're either gonna leave it at home or we're gonna leave it at the lake, and we're gonna run into problems anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely. And what's really hard is that a newborn grows so quickly. I could bring clothes and leave them there today, and in 2 weeks they won't fit her, so it doesn't matter.
That is
like,
kind of crazy. Yeah, the
that you
clothes
have to
we can kind of bring
forth.
back and forth.
But it's kind of like if you're a business and you're opening up like a second location, like an office, you're like, man,
you don't realize everything.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's like you have. What's it? You repress the memories of all the things you needed to purchase to start up your first office, and then you get like a secondary location. You're like, oh,
have I shared about the chair dilemma at the office?
Oh, well, I know I no longer have a chair in my office.
You no longer have a chair.
Not only is he looking to renovate my office into a new space. Look, I've been a mom for a couple of months, and he's like ridden me off. He's like, okay, the office is available.
It's not that.
We're hiring for a marketing position, and I no longer even have a chair to sit in. It's gone.
This is going to sound horrible.
And now let's hear it.
Okay, so we just updated the Kaloop team page, right?
Oh,
and I'm putting everyone on there.
And you decided against putting me?
Well, okay, so you're on there, okay? And so then I thought to myself, I mean, really, can I put myself, like Chris Abbott, Chief Product Officer, and then right next to me put Becky Abbott, Chief Marketing Officer? I thought, that's kind of weird. Like, it's kind of like, oh, husband and wife team, is this too, I was struggling. And so I haven't talked to you about it because when I come home, I'm just kind of like, hey, let's just hang out with the baby and stuff. So I put you at the end of the list. So you're not next to me. But then I couldn't be like, oh, I can't put you as Chief Marketing Officer at the end, right? So you know what I named you?
What?
Like event coordinator.
First of all, that's so funny. I feel like we have ESP because you had me submit my headshots yesterday to you, so you would have something to use. And which, I mean, we can talk about that too, the headshots.
The AI headshots.
Yeah. But hold on. So it's so funny because today I was literally thinking, I can't believe, no joke, this morning I was going, I can't believe he's going to put me on this website because we do have the same last name. And I was sitting there going, maybe I should tell him I wouldn't mind if he put my maiden name. So it just doesn't.
I thought about it.
So it just doesn't look.
I thought about it.
But then I thought in today's age, and this would be an interesting question to like ask, our listeners or anybody is, if you go to a company and you see that it's essentially being run by a husband and wife, like what are your thoughts? Because it's also, we both interview a lot of the candidates that are coming into the company, and I always preface it. It's like by the time I get on the phone with them, I'm like, look, I'm not sure if Chris shared or not, but like we're husband and wife. We've both, worked professionally together in the past. And it's one of those things where I just say it because at some point in the conversation, like I'm going to say something and they're going to be like, if I don't preface that we're husband and wife, they'll be like, that's really strange.
You guys are really close.
Saw each other on the weekend. Like that's some interesting executive relationships.
So talk about this culture one more time that you have.
Did you say you had a child with him? Like, it's like, so anyway.
The thought did cross my mind, but I also have the LinkedIn button for everyone. And so it's going to go to your LinkedIn. And so, it's kind of like, no, I'm not going to.
But these AI, he started using, there's a program. I'm sure everyone.
Okay, well, first of all, getting headshots for a company is extremely hard. So let's say that you, like today, let's say we brought in a photographer and they came in and they took all the shots. One, you're like banking on the quality of the person. You're paying hundreds of dollars for a photo shoot. And then next week, one person leaves and another person joins. And you're like, shit, I got to get all new things. So I found
even if you have a photographer in house, it's so hard to be like, okay, we're going to set up.
Because we do have a photographer in house.
Maria could do it, but at the same time, it's like every time, and I've dealt with this in marketing pretty much my entire career, because every time someone new starts a company, it's like, okay, let's schedule a date for headshots where it's like that training class. But to your point, some people make it, some people don't make it. You throw people up on a website and oh my gosh, have I dealt with editing websites where it's like, this person's gone, this person comes. And well,
also you go and you look and I judge people and I go, okay, so you went to their Facebook and you cropped them out of a picture of them on vacation and that's their professional picture on your website. Like,
like if people don't have.
I doubt, like, is that person really part of your company or not? And so with Kaloop, I really wanted to put our best foot forward.
Well, I will
say. And so I invested. I don't want to say pay.
Before you say the whole Facebook thing, because we can talk about the AI, but just I do like that there can be personality shown on websites. So like there's some websites where I've seen about us pages where it's literally like a professional headshot, but if you scroll over it, it's like super goofy, funny. Maybe there's a prop involved and it shows like who that person is. Because a lot of people, we at our old company used to be like, you're doing a headshot and you're wearing your company polo. That I don't like, because it's like, look, we're not running some crazy like uniform requirement here where you need to be in it. I like consistency.
You know, it's so funny that you
We're
said
so
this.
different, but that's what I'm
Because
saying.
I have
a
been
lot of people
struggling
like to show
because,
who they are.
One of our clients who does an amazing job in his company, and they are branded, they're team builders, they're a construction company. And I was at their office yesterday, and the front desk receptionist came in, and she's wearing a team builder shirt. It was a cool shirt, like, and it's obviously like, hey, cool shirt, team builders. And I was like, man, I really kind of wish everyone could just wear, you know, shirts that were branded. And
It's so hard.
And I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that, because then we're going to take away from people's creativity.
We're looking over at Maria right now because she's like, please don't make me wear a uniform.
She's like,
well, no, because no.
But here's what I thought is what we really need to get to is we need name badges, because at the next office that we're looking at buying this summer, I'm putting in a swipe card system. So like literally,
yeah, absolutely. That's fine. Security to get in and out of a system.
And the reason is because as a software vendor, you know, we really need to track who's coming in and out of our company to protect access to things that we have.
Yeah.
And the building that we're buying and the business that we're buying, they have a problem with people walking in all the way to the back and talking to people. So,
well, especially because there's a huge loading dock and the doors are open and whatever else.
And so we're going to quelch that.
Yeah.
But the idea is that, anyways, and so I was like, how could I have that? Anyway, okay, instant headshots. We made an investment. It's like $44 a person. And I've been doing like one a week, basically. So like every 2 weeks, I'm sending 2 emails out and getting it. Matter of fact, I think next on the list is Maria. She's on the list. I think I did you and a sim this week. And so, and I brought you in.
Well, either way, this tool is incredible. Like,
it's incredible.
I'm sure people
Everyone
have
looks
seen
like they're part of the same
but
team.
But it literally tells you need to submit like 10 photos at least of like a head-on shot, and then a couple that's like waist up. And so anyway, it's quite humorous because I was like, well, then it generates a photo of you, a ton of photos of you, like
tons,
like 25.
30.
Yeah. And so anyway, I'm like trying to look for photos, but of course I'm a new mom. So every photo of me is like hair unbrushed, no makeup on, like just not like bags under my eyes. And so I like submit what I thought was like the best that I had. And then it generated these photos and I was like, oh my God, I should have like,
I thought they all looked great.
Everyone else's are so nice. And I'm just like, AI did me dirty.
It did you great. There's so many great pictures. The picture on the site looks great.
Anyway,
of you.
So then there is this one picture where I look at it and I'm like, that does look like me, but like a much skinnier, prettier, like beautiful version of me. And I'm like, I'm looking at it. I literally showed it to one of my best friends last night.
Like, look how amazing you look here.
It's okay.
It's
but
great.
I submitted this.
Like, and speaking
he's showing
of that,
the picture.
I'm literally showing her on here. But look, going back to names, look what I did here. So I did not want a third Abbott to be on the Kloop site.
It's a family business.
And my adult daughter is
getting married.
So I decided to use her.
You spelled it wrong.
I did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I did. That's because she's not married yet.
Brie, it's spelled wrong. I think that's actually how the superhero's name
I know.
Is
that's
spelled.
I go because there's an evil character named Bane. And
it's
so
Bane.
It's like, all I think of is Brie Bane is she's like,
that's okay.
going
He
to
was
the
updating
DC dark side.
His life insurance policy the other day, which Brie and I are, of course, both on. And I looked at it and I was like, you got our birthdays wrong. Again.
They were just backwards. They weren't wrong.
Every time.
Easily fixed.
Every time.
I do that just to make sure everyone's paying attention.
But this AI thing is amazing. And I showed my best friend the pictures that were generated yesterday. And I was like, this is the one that I'm like, I wish I looked like this. Like some of them are like so far off that you're like,
The one
this
that you said that you wish I looked like, I thought you looked like that.
I do, but I'm like, what is different?
But your
is the
hair,
face
no,
longer?
it's your hair, like just all frilled out and sexy.
Anyway, I'm like, I told my best friend, I was like, I'm going to take this picture to a plastic surgeon and be like, you tell me what is different.
Oh, no, we're not going to plastic surgery.
Of course not.
I would like you to do what you can here.
We'll show Maria. Look at this skinny Becky.
Look at that picture.
Can they see it? There I am.
First of all, it's one, you don't wear suits like this. So, and if you look at your hair,
I don't plan
thick.
to. I will tell you, I walk downtown with the baby almost every day now, and I walk by some of these businesses, and there's just like some really pretty skinny girls like working at these businesses, and they just got these like designer outfits on, like the tight, slacks and like really beautiful, blouses with shawls. And I'm like, where do these women get the energy to like shop, wear, like pull it off? I mean, it's
dress up to go
every
out.
day.
We live by the water. In
know.
Sarasota.
It's so nice. And I always look at them and I
go, rich people.
I'm just not that girl. I mean, I could be a millionaire. I do not see myself being that girl. I just don't see it.
I will tell you that let me ask you this. Okay. Do you make your bed every day?
You know damn well.
Of course. It's what you choose to do. It doesn't make you late for work.
We were literally just having this conversation because we're now,
and there are people who don't make their bed.
We're sleeping in like every bedroom in the house.
Well, we stopped sleeping on the couch.
But anyway, I told him the other day, I was like, I'm making like 2 beds plus getting the nursery back in order and like opening all the blinds and everything every single day. And I'm sitting there going, why am I doing this? In fact, you don't even see it because I'm the one that goes up and turns down the
Going
beds.
to the 4th floor is like going to Everest. It's like, I don't want to climb that stairs.
Anyway, it was just, it's funny. Yes, I do make our beds and it means a lot to me to have a bed.
And it looks great. And I appreciate you all the time.
And when I say make the bed, I'm talking like we've got like pillows, throw pillows and everything that go on every single day.
I know. It's a whole thing.
It is a whole thing.
And what's funny is like when I go to you and I turn down our bed differently. Because what I do is I reach in, I grab the corner and then I pull it like a
psycho.
No, like when you're trying to pull a tablecloth out from underneath.
That's exactly what it looks like.
That's what I do. And I try to pull it from underneath all the pillows and then I stack the pillows over in the corner.
That's why
I got skills.
Redo your turn down every night.
Yeah, I know. I always can tell when you come in afterwards. I'm like, yeah, you squared it up a little bit.
What happened in here?
What happened?
I know. Well, I have been on a girls' trip with like my whole group of friends that I grew up with, and there's a couple of girls that admittedly said they don't make their bed in the morning, and I came home and I told you, and I'm like, I'm trying not to judge them, but I can't help it.
No, you can't. And you know what? What's crazy is when we watch Summer House, and there's cameras in everyone's bedroom. And we literally look at these people's rooms.
Okay, but the other day,
and they're like in bed with like brushes and irons and like clothes, and you're like,
just like candy wrappers on the floor.
This?
You're like, you've only been in the house for 12 hours. Like, who even eats candy?
But I think everyone lives like that.
No.
Yeah, every teenager.
But I will tell you, Carl, who's been sober now for I think 3 years on Summer House, the one morning that was the anniversary of his brother's passing, bless his heart, literally all the girls looked in his bedroom and they were like, Carl's bed isn't made. Is he okay?
Yeah.
And they went outside and literally Paige goes, Carl, are you okay? Your bed wasn't made.
Yeah.
I know. That would be me. Like, and I always tell.
I used to be that way. Now I'm just like, yeah, she's tired.
Oh, what do you mean? The bed's never got made.
Well, you make it eventually, but like, there's so many times I come up and it's not made.
No, this is not even true.
Okay. I was there.
Oh my gosh.
I was there.
Whatever. Okay, we went way off topic.
Yeah, this instant headshots. If you're really looking to dress up your company, especially if you're trying to show, like, let's say you're in the service industry and professionalism and such, I would say throwing, and you don't have uniforms, because if you try to get everyone in a collared shirt, I don't think it's just there yet. But we're using that tool. I'm actually need you to work on a policy and add a policy. We really need to put together a policy for when we take on the new group of team members. So we have 10 to 12 new team members coming on board, and we're going to have a really good dress code policy that basically amplifies what we have at this office just over there.
Sorry, this reminds me of I've worked at companies before where you literally write a policy for like one person.
Yeah.
And
are we both talking about the same person?
If you are watching in person, just held a pair of cojones. No, cojones are balls, aren't they? Boobs. A bosom.
Yeah.
Anyway, yep, we're talking about the same person.
It's amazing how we can gravitate that.
Over the course of time.
I was a complainer. Like, I was one of the people that said, hey, we got to do something about this. But
we had a person. Let her be free.
We had like 50 people in the company at that point in time. And we had a person that was coming to work. And she just had so much cleavage. It was just
she did. But I will say, first of all, at the company I worked for before that, there was a woman who was quite heavy set, and she would show cleavage, but it's the type that, like, if the bra is tight and like the boob is like billowing over, like she needs a bra size 10 sizes larger, but she doesn't. And like the fattiness of the boob is like hanging out. And
you're getting really graphic for me right now. Like, really graphic.
That was bad. The girl that was at our previous company, she was banging. She had a good body. Like, good
she's
for
skinny.
her.
She was a great person.
That's the thing.
It was nothing about her. Like, she was great.
I wouldn't complain about that.
In my mind, she didn't flaunt anything.
No, she just had it. If you got it,
she wasn't doing it on purpose. It was just kind of like, hey, I live in Florida. I'm young, and I'm going to wear what I want to wear. But I don't think that she said anything or like that, but it was a distraction. I was distracted.
That's your own problem.
You're right. It is my problem. But at the same time, I don't want to come into the workplace and be distracted. Like, there is a
you just could never work at Hooters.
That's correct. You are correct.
I mean, I couldn't either.
I've never actually been to a Hooters.
Bullshit.
No, I've never been.
Bullshit.
When we went
to
the Twin
Peaks.
Peaks, and I literally, I was like, I think this is like a Hooters or something.
It was hilarious. Yeah.
All these girls were
Twin Peaks.
Honestly, we got off the plane in Michigan and we were like, let's find something to eat. And it was like, hey, there's this place. It's got all American food. It's called Twin Peaks. And I was like, okay, this sounds great.
Googled it, like places close by. We were heading to my cousin's
There was not
house.
a single picture of the staff. And we walk up, and this girl's wearing plaid.
They're in like
a
flannel
top, and I'm like,
that's like tied.
And at first,
like
I'm
a
like,
crop top.
okay, this is hostess. That's an interesting thing. Then we get in, and I'm like, holy shit, everyone's wearing this.
It's the uniform.
It's the uniform.
See, they have
short
uniforms.
Shorts and the Anyway,
you loved that blue drink you got there.
I did like that blue drink.
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, it is quite funny, like different places and what they do. Sometimes people go corporate businesses that are like very professional, that do great business, will throw a trade show and have like just hire a hot woman to stand there wearing practically nothing to get people to come to their booth and be like,
"Oh, absolutely." That's like the trick of the
sex
trade.
sells.
I think.
Yeah.
No, and I'm. It's not that. What I want to do.
It's different.
I'm actually not
being
worried
in a
about
workplace.
that over there. What I'm worried about is just like wearing clothes with holes in them and just like.
Looking
I
homeless.
just feel like we need to have a standard.
Yeah.
And the one thing I'm worried about is like there's like grooming. We need to have a grooming standard. Which is tough because Chris doesn't. I don't even comb my hair.
I was gonna say your hair is a little rough
but it's
today.
short,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like It's like part of who I am is I don't comb my hair, and I usually have like a little mohawk in the middle from sleeping on it left and right.
That's what's happening.
I know. And
don't worry, people. He's a night showerer.
I am.
I'm not.
Unless I work out in the morning, and then I'll take a shower in the morning. Yeah. So I never take showers in the morning.
He decided to be honest there because I laughed at him because I was like, I guess that's
It's
true
like,
if you ever did it.
I get this work. Well, no, because I do get on things where I'll start walking and rock marching. I go through phases.
Yeah.
I am in the not workout phase right now.
When was the last time you were? I'm joking.
Are you really just trying to put me on the spot right
I'm
now?
not.
That's
I'm quite proud of myself. I've been
a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago.
It's just
3.
just for context of why it was so funny.
I almost died, Becky.
Oh my God, Becky! Wow, he really is mad at me. He called me by my full first name.
Actually, I think it's right after that accident where I pretty much stopped doing some exercising.
Yeah, no, you'll get back to it.
Yeah. You'll get back to it. I believe in you.
I do believe in you.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I'm doing quite well
All right,
right
so
now.
let's.
I will say activity helps you have energy throughout the day.
Oh, it says the person who's just recently gotten into the exercise piece.
Recently,
I am so proud of you, by the way.
I started Pilates halfway through my pregnancy, and I am continuing to do it. And I walk every
That's
single
recent
day.
to me.
Look, the baby's already 3 months old, halfway through my
I
pregnancy.
know today's her.
So I've been doing it for
birthday.
6 months. That's a pretty big
I
deal.
know. I'm serious. I'm actually extremely proud
I
of
know you are.
I tell you that every time you come home, how awesome it is. That's why I come home and make sure that I'm there to give you the free time and.
I know.
Escape.
Even though I'm working out, though, like Maria was just saying, she did a mud run this weekend, and I'm like, ooh, couldn't do that.
Oh, because it's intense.
It's
You know, the
intense.
thing about the mud runs, and I've done one, and Maria was like sharing with everyone. She's like, "Hey, I'm doing mud run." I'm like, "Look, you got to buy shoes." She's like, "Oh, I know." And then I was like, "And you know, your clothes." Oh, I know. I was like, oh, "Okay, that's good."
Like that, you're going to throw everything away.
Yeah,
Because it
you're
just
gonna,
gets
like, throw
filthy.
everything
You're
away.
literally running in mud, like pools. I just
Like just mud. But here's the thing that worries me, and the reason why I don't do those anymore is just the chance of getting hurt. Like, like
I thought he was
literally,
going to
like
say
if I
snakes,
twisted
bacteria,
if I twisted
lice.
my leg or my knee and I busted my knee,
Like the gators living in the mud holes.
just the work required to get myself back into the game.
Yeah.
I would just like that's where I look at it. And as I've gotten older, I really look at every activity and I literally apply a risk level. So I'm like, okay, jumping in the pool and swimming, risk level 2, you know?
It's like you're old.
Going
when
on
you're
mud
like,
run, risk level 10, not going to do it.
You were
the other day,
literally
I was like
like-
doing ultimate frisbee with some guys. I was like, risk level, walking field, okay. I might get hit with a frisbee. There's a gator pond. Yeah, risk level 3.
Oh my
You
gosh.
know, I'll do it.
You're a what? But it's so funny. He'll go wakeboarding and surfing and
I'm
like
telling you, wakeboarding now, risk level 6.
no,
Not
it's
because of getting
intense.
hurt, but because I got an infection last year because so much water went in my nose because I wrecked and did whatever.
Yeah.
And I was looking at buying
Your
this thing for
sister
the
pushed
boat.
you.
She did push me, and I'm not gonna.
She was like, "Do it again, brother."
Yeah, and I was drinking a little bit, so that probably led to it. Because I'm a day drinker, so I drink during the day.
Day
and then
drinker.
nighttime,
yeah.
I stop.
I'm kidding. That song's.
I
the
was
Day
actually,
Tripper.
it was Woody that the other day, he was just like, you know what? I really like, I need to get into your thing, which is like, you stop at 5 o'clock, you start chilling out, drinking water, you got the campfire going, you go to bed, you wake up refreshed, feeling good. I'm like, yeah, man, that's the way to do it, you know? But I also start at 10 a.m.
It's not my jam.
Yeah, you're an all-nighter.
And an all-dayer.
And an all-dayer. You're an aller.
I am, but it doesn't happen often. Just at the lake.
No, yeah, I mean, you see how the summer goes.
I'm coming out of like pregnancy hibernation.
You're kind of like that high school homeschooler that's gone to college for the first time, and they're like, "Wow, beer!" You know, that's kind of like you after having a baby.
Yeah,
You're like, "Wow,
I'm pretty good.
wine! I love this."
I do love wine.
Oh gosh, we've gone through more bottles of wine in the last month than we have in the last 2 years.
That's because I'm not pregnant anymore. Easter was great.
You're making up for it.
Easter
proud of you.
was great.
Easter was great. We had a guest that brought 4 bottles of rosé. And at the time when they brought it in, I literally was like, wow, you guys are stopped. And then I thought for 1 second, I go, yeah, you two can put down a couple bottles, so that's okay. But I didn't think you could get through 4. And you guys blew through 4. And
then we had to open a bottle of red.
And then you had to open a bottle of red, and that slowed you guys down a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is probably a big part of why, everyone's having beverages. And I totally won this game, left, right, center. And
I know. Has anyone ever played before?
And who was it that wanted to throw the $3 in?
Oh, Leanne.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, we were playing with quarters, and she's like, let's play for big money.
Yeah, so
she's
we play with 3
forget
quarters.
the quarters.
She's like
let's
$3.
use dollars instead.
So there's 8 of us, so the pot was $24. It's the biggest pot of any family game I think we've ever played, quite frankly. And,
we just need to bring Leanne around more.
And so I won. I was the rightful winner. I had the last dollar left. And then, of course, Auntie D's like, no, you have to earn it. You have to roll the dice and you have to get a dot. And I was like, no, that's not the rules.
Because what happened is everybody else got out. Everybody else was out of money. And if
Everyone's
other
out of money.
people are
I'm
out
the
of
only
money,
one with $1
she
left.
says that in the end, you still have to roll the
Earn
dot.
it.
Or everyone else then just, you start over again. And it's normally 3/4, but of course we had played with $3. So you didn't earn it, which she goes, we've never played that way, but we looked up.
I looked up the rules, and that's how you play.
It is both on the game and online.
Yeah. And by the way, it's also my house.
It doesn't matter.
There is house rules, and house rules trumps other people's rules.
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
at the
hey,
time,
my family's done this for 60 years. It's like, I don't care. It's my house.
Yeah.
My house.
It is true. But you need to establish house rules before you begin. If there's going to be house rules.
No, because you typically don't do, well, sometimes people do
Because
that,
I will
but we didn't
say,
run into that.
in college, beer pong rules were definitely different based on the house you were in, and you respected it, but they were established before you began.
Okay. Well, I didn't realize that I had to establish my house rules.
You do.
When the rule
Oftentimes,
is the rule
in
of
college,
the actual game.
The beer pong rules would literally be either on a poster on the wall.
I agree with you,
or like
but here's
a
the thing.
whiteboard.
At my house, I didn't need to establish house rules because I'm going by the rules. Now, you have...
That is correct.
Auntie D has house rules. We ain't at her house.
Yeah.
So if we were at her house, she would say, I'm going to establish a house rule. That
She's
house
kind of
rule...
like the game queen, though. So what she says
she's the game
usually
cheater.
goes. No,
cheater?
no, she's not a cheater.
Okay, well, what's the word that you would use?
She reneged once, and it's the only time I've ever seen
I've
her
never
renege.
reneged in my life.
Bullshit. That's bullshit.
Yes.
We're talking about euchre, by the way, which is a great card game. But so, long story short, Easter was great. He did not get the pot. We chose to play by the...
And I wrote a C, and that means I had to put my money in the middle, which means we had to play it entirely
We all started
round
over.
again.
And then, because at that point in time, he had looked up the rules, it was so funny because then... At the end of that,
I was actually a little mad.
At the end, trust me, I know. And then at the
I needed time to let it go.
At the end of that game,
because I'm so competitive.
Leanne,
your family knows that. By the way.
Yeah, you are very competitive. But at the end of that game, Leanne would have won, and so she went to take the pot, and you were like, "Oh hell no!" It was kind of like, "No, if we played now, whoever's going to win it needs to earn it." So we ended up going in like 3 rounds.
We went 3 rounds, and then down to me again.
It was down to you again.
And then I rolled a R and gave the $1, and I think Leanne won.
No,
your mom won.
Which, you know what? At the end of the day, if it was anyone else, I might have been like, that sucked, but it was my mom.
And your mom
so I'm just
counted
happy
that
for
money
her.
in front of me and took it, knowing.
Happily.
I know.
But in the future, if we're ever playing games and you need a couple of quarters, she would definitely give you.
Of course she would. She would give me quarters regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's an angel.
She is. She's an angel. Now, I will tell you, if Auntie D won, explosion.
I know she didn't. You would have made her probably split it with
I
you.
would have been like, no.
But she wouldn't have.
I know she wouldn't have. That's all right. We're going to jack her rent up next year.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to get that $24 back.
I'm sure they'd give it to you.
She's going to be like, how come it's this much plus $24? I'll be like, yes. Uh-huh.
We're going to.
Matter of fact, I'm going to do that.
Remember 3 years ago? Oh, my gosh.
No, I don't remember 3 years ago.
It was a joke. It was like what you would say to them. Like, you just wait until they least expect it. A year is probably long
No,
enough.
you wait till they're least expecting it, and then you give them a surprise. And she actually said that. She's like, I'm gonna get it this summer, aren't I? And I'm like, oh, I got 2 months to plan.
2 months. I know, I'm excited.
But I'm kind of busy, so.
We're going to Michigan. We're going to do a little winery tour in Traverse City. It'll be lovely.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Go
and I am
there.
planning to stay for the 10 days that we're going or whatever. I'm not going to come back early this year.
Well,
I'm hoping that everyone's got the
attempts-
fort held down this year.
Your attempts to come back. Last year, you were leaving to go on a dive trip in Belize, and the hurricanes came, and we. It is a dangerous time. You don't remember hanging out in Flint for 3 days in a trashy hotel?
Yes. I
what are
remember
you
that.
doing?
Well, I have a worry that we got an order, and I just wanted to double check real quick. Sorry.
You can't even do a podcast for 30 minutes without checking your phone.
You know what? It's all about the Benjamins. An order comes in. The reason is because I got a call from an association, and they're like, "Hey, we're having a board meeting, and we want to give this one of our tenants air conditioning because it's our fault. We just need to figure out how to do it." And so they were asking how to go about it. And so
You thought maybe it came in.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure because I know that Brandon's taking a look at it and everything. So even though we do this, we got to protect the revenue stream. And summertime's heating up.
It is.
Money. We got two more AC referral companies coming in. I onboarded them this morning.
Awesome.
Sent them the videos and stuff. So hopefully they'll sign up and do that. We'll do a follow-up with them in a week or two and help them out. I didn't give them any company credit, but if they haven't ordered in a week or two, then I will give them each a couple $100 just to try us out.
Sweet.
So,
well, it's a great concept. Temp AC and excuse me, both of us have frogs in our throats today. But in the summertime, it's a great. Other people can franchise it.
Yeah.
And living's easy.
So you got a note here about kind of like the job market in general because we're hiring. And we were trying to get cams. We really had a hard time onboarding one of our team members or finding someone, you know. And also I'm going through people. It's not like I went through 20 applicants, you know, and there were some that had some experience, but it's just, you know, trying to work that out. But what I found here is that at least what we're going to do is we're going to start training and like do on the job training, you know, and teaching people how to do that, like help them kind of work through career transitions and stuff. I think that's pretty much what we've gravitated to.
Well, it is so hard to find someone who's got exactly what you're looking for. And oftentimes, a lot of people say this when you're hiring, they'd rather bring somebody in who's willing to learn how the company wants to go about doing things versus be like stuck in their ways, like they know how to do it. Mm-hmm. There's a difference. Some people can bring experience and they actually provide value to a company by saying, hey, I've done this in the past. This is how I've been successful. And be like, okay, that's great. We're willing to adopt that methodology or let's train others on it. But then there are some situations where people are just like hard-headed, want to do something the way that they've always done it, but it's not necessarily like modernized or fitting with the culture of a new company, but they stick to their guns anyway. So it just depends. But no, there are some people that we've interviewed and it's interesting. We've talked a lot about the interview process, but it's like so many people, back in the day, and I know we were talking about this before, worked for companies for a very long period of time.
Right.
Like my dad literally was at a company for like 30 plus years. It might have been 40 years. I think he texted me last time when I got that wrong. But he
texted you after the fact?
Yeah, a lot of people text when they listen to the podcast and say it's funny or that there's a comment or something.
And it applies to them or
verifying.
It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Well, I just want to say I don't ever get any texts from people.
You do. Bree texts.
Oh, she texts the group.
Okay, so it's not private.
Yeah. I gotta get a private group, be like, hey, you know.
Yeah. But anyway, I think in today's world, a lot of people hold jobs and they want to find that company that they can be loyal to. In fact, one of the first companies that I ever worked for out of college has some of the longest standing employees out of any other company that I know. Like they've got probably
20 plus year people.
And there's probably 30 of them. Like it's not just.
But see, that has to do with culture.
100%.
100% with culture, the revenue of the company being strong enough to support the growth of the people.
Of the people. Yeah, you have to have opportunity.
You can't come in at the first year, make a salary, and expect to make that same salary 20 years later.
No, you can't.
So there has to be that one
and
thing,
you have
which
to.
Is, I lose sleep. I don't lose sleep over it, but I think about that with our team. And I'm like, okay, like we have to keep growing, not only like business, but we got to get revenues that can also support the internal growth of everyone.
Of the individuals. And, because not only does it become work experience in general for a role, but it also becomes like intellectual property of a specific role or business within the four walls. Like there's tons of value to employees that have stayed at a company. But most of the time, like that is outside of the norm to find a company that's got 30 plus employees that have been there for 20 plus years these days. And a lot of people will be somewhere for like, let's say 5 to 7 years is like a long period of time. I feel like I've given 7 years to like my professional roles at different companies. And I feel like that's a good amount of time, like a long period of time.
It's like the 7-year itch.
It is definitely. Yeah. There's
which
other things.
I will tell you at this company, one of the good things is that because we are a company that makes product and other ventures, the idea that someone could cross-pollinate or move to something new to kind of get out of that groove will be a real possibility for our team, which is something I'm excited about.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing. But in hiring right now, it's so interesting because oftentimes you look at a resume and if someone's like moved around to a couple of different places, in a short period of time, you're like, ooh, why? You know?
And it's interesting because I think there is like that self-preservation. It's like, I have to get a job. So you're going to take something that you wouldn't necessarily be good at or do. At the same time, that hurts you because you're already looking for the right job, and then you're moving to the next one.
Well,
or
and
maybe
that's
you're not
what's
doing
really
what at
hard.
that job.
That's what I was going to say about the job market today is that whereas in the past it might not have been as big of a factor, today it's like people lost their jobs due to COVID or they were furloughed.
But there's a difference between a job and a career. The people who bounce, they're more in the kind of the job realm where they're doing a job, something that maybe can be easily replaced, versus a career where it's like, hey, I'm in a field of study, I'm doing a certain type of task, and I can do it for a long period of time because it's a career. And those people are not going to move as much. And it's a huge red flag.
Not as much.
They're jumping.
That's true. I agree with you. Or to your point, if you jump, but you continue to keep that same role, you have an area of expertise and you continue to grow and gain experience within different companies, that's great. Right. But like, to your point, there have been things that have been outside of people's control, especially for the younger generations that have attempted to get a job and maybe they've lost it due to COVID or a company has shut down, or there's just all these factors that aren't at play as much. They always exist, right? But it's like there creates a desperation. Mm-hmm. You know, pay is different. It's like inflation's been insane. Pay's been less. Revenue's been harder to get for companies, unless you were in a company that was like booming, you know, but there could be like an extreme boom in a company where it's like you can't fulfill enough orders, or what if tariffs affect your company today and you've got to shut your doors? There's so many different things going on in the world that it is hard. You almost want to like give grace to somebody, but at the same time, you're like,
well, that's where you're kind of making those internal you're like, okay,
right.
You have to kind of piece it together in your own mind, and you're either going to give it a positive spin or a negative spin.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
It is hard. It's so hard.
You're kind of making like, I mean, you've got that person's future in your hands, at least at your company, right?
Yeah.
Not in life in general, but it's like, okay, are we going to invite this person in or not?
Well, and you're always the type of person that's like, I believe everybody deserves a chance. You know?
I am a redemption person.
Yes. Like even if there are things, and we're not just talking about like hiring for the business, but it's like if there's red flags or someone has like done something in the past, you know, do you allow them redemption? And I actually, this is crazy, but I worked with someone in the past that then was being looked at another company that I was looking to work for, and I did start working for. I'm trying not to provide a lot of information here, but anyway, this person, in my experience of working with them initially, I had made some mistakes, let's just say.
Okay.
And when I was asked to provide a recommendation of whether or not this person should come to this new company that I worked for, I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't know. But I didn't say, I provided the facts. I provided the facts.
You did provide the facts.
And
they didn't work out, by the way.
It didn't work out. And part of me thought, so they came on board, but it didn't work out. And part of me wondered, should I have done more? But I was newer, you know, to the company myself.
Company at the time. And it's very hard when you're a new person and recommending a new person. I
felt like, to your point, that it wasn't my responsibility to say whether or not someone's good or bad. It's like, unless I really know, unless I work like right alongside someone. And even in those cases.
But how awesome would it have been if you would have been like, you know what? I mean, nothing against them. I'm not sure they're the right fit for the company based off of my knowledge. And then they hired him anyway. And then it didn't work out. They'd be like, wow, she told us. She told us up front.
Yeah, but do people really care?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think people care at all.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But it's hard. It's because you never want to take an opportunity away from somebody else. I would never, because another person wrote me asking for me to write a referral or a recommendation because I had like connections, and I actually didn't think that this person was the right fit for the job, nor had I seen any great work ethic from this person in my experience.
Right.
And so instead of saying like, hey, don't hire this person. I just didn't do anything at all.
Right. Inaction is your response.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
like
typical.
I'm not going to recommend you, but I'm also not going to make sure you don't get the job.
Exactly. Yeah. That's typically what you do, or you let the emails fade or
whatever.
Go away,
Yeah.
do whatever.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
But I'm also the type of person where if I think you're amazing, I will literally scream it from the rooftops. I will call and tell everybody I know. Like if there's an opportunity to hire someone, then I'm like, you'd be silly. I've gotten, when we did go through difficult times of having to let people go, and it included people on my teams, I pretty much got
everyone jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I have a handful of people in my Rolodex that I would love to bring aboard the team.
Oh, here?
I
Yeah,
just love,
absolutely.
And it's really just not a right fit, mostly because we can't afford anyone, you know? Like they've gotten so high in where they're at that they can't stomach the loss, you know, with the benefits. Because I do think that people get to their career where they make more money, and I think you were even like this, like you're willing to put up with shit because 100%. You're getting compensated more, and you start losing the focus of happiness at home or happiness in your life.
Just happiness in what you're doing. Like a lot of people get comfortable because the salary's paying the bills. Like so many people get comfortable. It's not even funny. And the reality is that you can look for something else, but yeah, it might not match the salary. So you sit there and go, which is interesting because it's like, you're getting a salary because exactly what I just said. You built yourself from within, and you have the company intellect. You've got that, you know, knowledge of the company itself. You can take a pay cut with the expectation of building yourself back up once you gain the knowledge of that company. Right. A lot of people don't see it that way. They just expect, I got a salary here, so now I'm going to move there. And it's like, well, you're not going to be nearly as valuable to the new place where you initially go. Until you give it a couple of years, you know. Right. But some people do. I mean, if you're talking about like development and coding and skill set, like some of that is just transferable. You know, you're like, I'm making this and I expect to get this, but
yeah, there's different variations and different things. There's also when a company goes through a growth spurt, when they increase everyone's pay and they get them in a really bad spot, because then if the economy goes down and things dry up, all of a sudden you have people who are paid extremely well, and you start hurting and you start letting people go. People start getting overworked. Like it can be like a death spiral.
Well, or those are your most valuable employees. They always say like, oh, people get cut from the top. And it's like, well, not if they're doing the job of 4 people, but then you start having to let go of 40 little guys.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then you really,
To get rid of, I know we shouldn't talk about that anymore. Jeez. We
depressing.
Saw it happen. It's depressing.
I know.
Real.
It is. But we're looking to just have some amazing growth as a company and bring on board some valuable people.
Great conversation about hiring and bringing people on board in the job market.
Hopefully the job market gets better.
I will just say that Barrett, who's the head of sales for our seasoning division, that sounds like so big, doesn't it? Like, head of sales for our seasoning division, which is our Dusted brand. He has talked me into launching a turkey brine.
A turkey brine?
Every year, the stats are that all these places run out of turkey brine. There's never enough turkey brine produced to cover the need.
But a brine is a liquid.
But you can create it from
you add it to water?
Yes.
Huh.
And so we're putting together like a rough, and we're thinking about calling it brined and making it to where you dump it into the pot, mix it up, and do something. So I'm saying this as a reminder that I said that I would do some testing this weekend and
we're going to the lake this weekend.
Just a turkey breast.
We're going to be brining a whole turkey.
We're going to brine it. No, not a whole turkey, just a little turkey breast.
That's so hard because the whole point of brine is that, like, in order to get a good one on Thanksgiving, you put the entire turkey in the brine for like 24 hours. And
why can't I just put the turkey breast in?
Because the size of the turkey and the meat is like definitely going to play a variable and a factor.
So you use less brine.
Okay.
I mean, this is, it's like baking. You have to cut all the measurements down.
I'm not a baker.
You are not a baker. And I don't mean that in a negative way. You're just not a baker.
I make good desserts, but it's not my
I make
choice.
Amazing chocolate chip cookies.
You do. You
ready to call it a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go get a chocolate chip
I
cookie.
do. I'm like starving right now.
I know.
All
Okay.
right.
We'll see you guys next
See you
week.
next week.